Welcome to The Strategic Edge, the podcast for entrepreneurs and business owners who want a competitive edge in the market. They want to be seen as the expert in their industry, and they're looking for cutting edge and innovative strategies that work across industries to help them scale their business like a boss. My name is Carden, and I'm your host. Welcome to the show. Hey everyone, it's Carden here, and I want to welcome you back to another episode of The Strategic Edge. And today I have a guest, Abby Alter, and she is going to give some great marketing strategies. She's going to tell us she has spent 23 years in marketing, so you know she is an expert at what she does. But she's doing some very different things and some really cool things in her business, and she's out of Plano, Texas. So I am very excited to have her on as my guest. Abby, welcome to my show.
Thank you for having me, Anne.
So Abby, tell everyone in a few sentences what you do and what you're all about.
So I've been working in digital marketing ever since the dial-up started, which is a long time ago. And I, over the years, have built so much experience of promoting all types of different products online. But in the last 5 years, I've been living, 8 years, I've been living in Plano, Texas. I'm from London, England.
You can tell her accent, not from Texas.
And I built in a local online media platform for mums, providing content, resources for them, solving all of their problems, and also promoting local businesses and bigger brands to them at the same time, much like a magazine or newspaper might do, but using online technology, online channels.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about the local media platform that you have. How is that a website? What is that exactly?
Well, it's across all places, because I know that when you follow the attention of mums, they're all on their smartphone. I know we all are, but very, very busy and just looking up answers to their questions and so on. So it started as a Facebook group, which I it's very, very normal to have in local areas, local mums group, but that grew organically and exploded. And I quickly added in an email newsletter into that and built an email list off of that. And then the later part of it was a website. So now I promote across the website, email, and Facebook, but not just the group. I also have a Facebook page. I have Messenger, and I also do Instagram, and I love doing video and live video. So just creating lots of content in different ways, just meeting people where they are and providing resources that they need.
Okay. And you said these are all mompreneurs. So these are all moms with their own business.
Not mompreneurs, just mums.
Just moms. Okay, just moms. So give us an example of what a mom would come to you for.
Which are the best schools and preschools in the area, the best swim teacher, the best dentist or doctor, you name it, they need it. And so our website is a blog-based site, but we also have a directory of recommended businesses in different categories. We also have offers, lots of exclusive offers for them, events. Events are a little slow right now, but in a normal year, we promote a lot of local events as well.
Okay, fantastic. So how do you monetize something like that, Abby? Because this show is in front of business owners and entrepreneurs, and they're probably looking for different ideas and different strategies. So how did you monetize that?
Well, very quickly, I realized that when you do have a captive audience of a certain demographic, that you know that there are business owners trying to reach them. And so in much the same way, local businesses may in the past have done direct mail campaigns or bought adverts in local newspapers, I realized I could actually offer them much more cost-effective promotions online and get much better results for them. So I work on an ongoing basis with a lot of local businesses, creating promotions for them in different ways based on whatever their objectives are. And usually it's a 3 to 6 month type relationship that we have, if not longer.
Very nice. And she has, you said, about 30,000 moms on the platform. So really, that's a really brilliant strategy. How did you come about getting into something like this and doing it? I know you said you started with the Facebook group and all of that, but how did you get into all of that?
Well, when I moved to Plano, I left all my family and friends behind, and I had a lot of these questions that I see other mums asking all
Mm-hmm.
the time. And I realized that by providing them the answers and giving them all the resources that they needed, that I would be able to keep their attention. And that in doing so, I could avoid the local businesses having to spend their money in other places and not have any visibility on how well spent it is, what the results were that they got. Everything that we do online is tracked. We have data coming out of our ears, and we're able to pull that data together and give them a very clear idea of how much it costs to get the attention of one person. And then
Mm-hmm.
we can track it all the way through so that they then report back and tell us how many phone calls they got or how many new sales they got, and so on. And so we use that to build case studies to share with other new businesses that are coming into the area that also want to work with us.
Very nice. So do you have all types of businesses on your platform that basically want to be seen? And that's really what we're talking about here, right? Getting eyeballs on a business.
Yeah,
All
I
types.
do. I do. I mean, I think what's very interesting is when you work in a local space, you're working with a lot of business owners that are very small. They have smaller budgets, and also they're very, very stretched and have no time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what I prefer working with is the business owner that really does go all in and trusts us to spend the majority of whatever the budget is that they have,
Mm-hmm.
and then teach them what we're doing so they can also build their own online platforms and maybe improve the websites that they have, or maybe build their own email lists and so on. So it could be a mom and pop store, it could be a
Mm-hmm.
dentist or a doctor, but then it could also be kind of a big hospital brand that is,
Mm-hmm.
national or even statewide.
Mm-hmm.
So, all different types. The events are also fun. We love to do events, and we normally go live at those events and ensure we're selling tickets for them in advance. So just, I mean, all types of businesses really, and that's one of the things I love about doing this. Is really kind of getting to know the different industries and
Mm-hmm.
figuring out how best we can promote them to local moms.
I love it. Very innovative. So great job on that. Share some strategies with us, Abby. I know that you've been in marketing for 23 years. You and I share similar backgrounds as far as the whole marketing thing. And I know that when I looked at some of the things that you wanted to share, they're spot on with everything I believe and teach. So I'm going to let you kind of talk about some strategies. What are, right now marketing it's noisy, right? We're bombarded with messages every single day. So talk about some things that people can do in their marketing that will make them look different, help them stand out, help them get more traction from their marketing, those types of things.
I always start with trying to reframe in a business owner's mind who their audience is and helping them figure that out. The more you know about your target market, the better you're going to be able to market properly to them.
Yeah.
I love the idea of giving segmenting your audience into different types, knowing who they are. Maybe some information about them, what their interests are, their habits. What magazines they might read or media they might consume, what products they typically buy. The more you know about your audience, the better. And in doing so, realizing that running your business is actually not about you. And most business owners go to that as a default. It's about,
Right.
I can do this for you. I can do this for you.
Or my
But
logo. It's about my logo.
yeah, but you're not thinking about who they actually are and what they actually need, and thinking about it totally from their point of view.
Right.
So, one of the first questions I ask any new business that works with me is, what are the three big questions that you're asked by a potential customer?
Mm-hmm.
What are the big problems that you can solve and how? And often, the response I get is very interesting, because they say, we've never thought about that before. And
Right.
I'm like,
Right.
that's the key. And it's so simple, but it's something that business owners do tend to forget sometimes.
Right. And sometimes it's very hard for them to figure those things out. They don't really know. I've worked with both the small business side and online entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, agency owners. But and I think that online they understand that more. Entrepreneurs tend to understand that more, really, really identifying who your avatar is, your ideal clients, your ideal customers. But offline small business owners, you kind of said it earlier, well, they're in their business and they don't have a lot of time, and so they just don't have access to all of the same things that I think we do when we're online so much, and the knowledge that we acquire that way. So they never think about who their perfect customers are, or their perfect clients, and they never do any kind of research or searches on what is the demographic, and like you said, even their interests. It's easier if you know that your ideal customers love golf, because now you know how you can go find them and where you can put your message and all of that. So I love that you are doing that. So you also said it's not about you. We know that often it's very easy to make marketing about you and not about your ideal clients, but what they are buying is what you can provide to them. They're not buying your logo. They're not buying your brand unless they believe that you can help them. And then you had another point that you wanted to bring up too. So what was that about marketing?
Well, I think the key thing really is it's just keeping it very simple and to the point. Attention, especially online. And like you said earlier, Anne, everyone's bombarded with messages. Mm-hmm. We are busy people. We really are kind of so distracted quickly. So you've got to really get to that point really quickly. What problems do you solve? How do you want your customers to feel? How are you going to hook them in and get their attention? A lot of waffling and kind of things that people just aren't going to relate to are not going to help you. One of the big things I try and explain is, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. As humans, we forget that as business owners about building brands, but we are humans. And when you are trying to promote yourself to other humans, you need to think about what are their absolute survival needs. And it's all about survival. Is this going to elevate my status? Is this going to put food on my table? Am I going to save money to conserve my resources? These types of things. So you've got to think about your products or services in that way, in order to address those very fundamental survival needs that humans have, and then promote using those messages. Any product that you sell, if you're trying to sell a crock pot, you're not actually selling the crock pot, you're selling the convenience of putting it all in a pot. Yes. And then 8 hours later, you've got your dinner ready.
You go to work and you come home and it's voila, dinner is ready.
Yeah. And therefore you feel less stressed and you feel relaxed and it was so easy. And
that's a great example that you did. Yeah. That's a great example. Yes. Very good. So you can tell she knows what she's doing. But no, that's true. It's like, what is the result that you're getting from that? Or what is the outcome? Or what are you actually gaining from that? So it's so easy for people to want to sell their stuff and not even think about what the customer or the client is looking for. And also, people have to realize that every single buying decision is emotional in some way. There's some kind of emotion that goes into any kind of a purchase that a person makes. Do you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely, 100%. I often get asked, which is the best dentist in the area? And I mean, we have a lot of great dentists, right? But, I listen very carefully to what other moms say about these dentists and how they make them feel and why they chose them. And those are the things that as a business owner, that dentists themselves should be talking about those things.
Oh, gosh, that is a brilliant strategy right there. One of the things that I help people do when we're working on their positioning and their marketing in their business is I have them go and look at testimonials that their clients have given them, or their customers, either way, have given them, and what those people have said about them. And that should become part of their marketing and part of that emotional copy and marketing message that they're putting out there. Because typically, what one person's saying, many people are saying. It's not usually just a one-off testimonial. You usually can see that thread running through almost all of those. Do you agree with that?
I do. I totally agree with that. It's very interesting because I feel like sometimes we don't think about our customers at all. And it's at that point that you may realize that your business isn't as successful as it could be, or as your competitor is seeing the results. And I feel like if you're customer focused solely, you will be successful.
Yes, I agree with that. One of the things too, when I work with someone, it doesn't matter what kind of business they are, we find out what are the things that are most important to your customers or your clients. I think about like a plumbing company that I worked with, for example. He realized that when we really dug into this, he said, well, my customers, they're working people, and money's not an issue. It's not money, it's time. They care about time, and they get frustrated because they'll call a plumber and the plumber won't show, or they'll give them a 6-hour window, or and it's very frustrating to them. And so we actually positioned him as, on-time guarantee, or your service fees are free. And just changing that message and sort of making that his market dominating position, his business exploded, because he knew that that was the thing that was the most important for them. And the fact that they could say, well, we'll be there at such and such a time, and if we're not going to charge you for the service fee, that we normally charge to come out there. That was a huge thing. Now you have to be able to back those things up as a company, right? And they could. So I think they gave away one the entire year that we worked together, but that's a good example. And you do have to be able to back things up that you're saying as well, to your customers and to your clients. But that's just an example of, creating that positioning in the marketplace that can help you stand out and also attract people over the competition. I always say you can make your competition irrelevant. What do you think about that?
Oh, I completely agree. I mean, I'm very fortunate. I don't really have any competition doing what I do.
I was going to say, you have a pretty innovative business model here, so yes.
But equally, I know that marketing budgets are committed ahead of time, and if local businesses don't realize that what I do and how it works, and they may already have committed elsewhere. So I don't take that for granted. But I was going to say that I think it's super important as well to understand that the repetition of that message, I mean, that commitment, the promise you described with the plumber, they've got to repeat that over and over again in a number of different places, whether it's on their website, whether they send out emails, whether they do direct mail, whether they do any TV or radio advertising. They've got to keep repeating that over and over and over again. You probably know about the power of 7, Anne, where you have to have a message repeated 7 times to expect any type of response in today's day and age. And so that's crucial. It's like, what is that message going to be? And how can I keep repeating it in different ways over time so that I will get a response?
That's a really good point too. And I think now even, we talk about 99 touches. Now it's almost like it used to be, if you 12 or 13 times people saw you or had that touch point, that you could attract them. But now it's because of how inundated we are with messages and all of that. I think, and again, I don't know how they get these statistics, but now they're saying like it's as much as 99 times. That's crazy when you think about that. But you're absolutely right. That message needs to become your power statement, really, for your business, so that there's congruency and there's consistency, and you don't look different in one place than you do in another. That's really important. People have to have a clear understanding of what does make you different, and why should I want to contact you over someone else. And then having that credibility too. If you can back up that power statement, or I call it a market dominating position, if you can back that up with testimonials, with things where people are saying the same thing, there's nothing more powerful. But yes, repeat for sure. I love that.
I actually think that in some ways, the one thing that's going to tip somebody to actually call you or book you or buy your product or service is that one testimonial from somebody who they believe and trust and can relate to, who's just like them. Because I think that rather than you speaking for yourself all the time and talking about how great you are, if your customers speak for you, then, I mean, that's the best form of marketing you can possibly get.
Absolutely. Yes. No, you're spot on. And I think a lot of small business owners, this is kind of going down a different path a little bit, but a lot of small business owners don't leverage that enough. They don't leverage those testimonials enough, or they're not getting them enough. And that's something that I kind of really, have to not forget too for myself. I mean, I even teach that to people, but then, sometimes when we get in our own business, sometimes we forget to do those things, and we have to remind ourselves to do those things. But you are spot on. There's nothing more powerful than that, for sure.
Yeah.
So, Abby, anything else that you would like to add to just share with the listeners?
I think that maybe right now, I'm not sure when this show is going to air, but we've had a very difficult time this year.
Mm-hmm.
Many business owners probably feeling unsure about the future, and I certainly know that many of them have struggled with budget and thinking, how can I cut back in order to survive? And I definitely appreciate that. But in fact, now is the time to double down on your marketing. And maybe if you do have some more time on your hands than you normally would, because things are a little slow, this is the best time to try and take a step back and try and look inside your business and think through, what am I doing? How can I change it next year? How can I use technology, which it is in abundance and always changing, providing great opportunities online to do things differently and be able to move into 2021 in a really positive way.
I love that you're talking about that. Now we're going to keep talking, because there's more to add to that. I think a couple of things that you've said, I always say when things get tough, that is the time you have to step up your marketing, not cut back. Generating leads and marketing is oxygen to your business. So if you cut that off, you are sure to die. I mean, it's not going to continue. And they always want to pull back. It's so common in small business and entrepreneurs. They always want to pull back like they can't afford it. But here's the thing, you can't afford to not market. You can't afford to, even in a recession, people that succeed, they put more, they go in bigger, they go all in, and they take that bigger risk to be even, because that's really the time you can be more visible. You can be seen more because you don't have the same competition, because a lot of people do pull back and a lot of people do hang on tight and hold on. But also you're talking about 2021. This is the time that you should be creating momentum for your business, for the new year. And a lot of people, I know I see this a lot with entrepreneurs and, coaches and consultants in the online world. Small business, not so much. Most of them still have their business going. But in the online world, you see people kind of sitting back in December for Christmas. And, from like Thanksgiving on, a lot of people they're not doing much. Like they're just sort of taking a vacation. And that is just the wrong attitude. If you want big things to start happening, you have to create that momentum now. You don't start January 1st, or you're already 2 to 3 months behind the people that get that and are already doing that. So I had to speak to that point, because I think it's important for people to understand that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And, I do know it's very difficult when you're really struggling to put food on the table and you're running a business to support your family, and you're really looking at every penny that's coming in. And I get it. I totally do. We've also had a difficult year, and a lot of local businesses have had to.
It's hit everyone, for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, but equally, it provides so many great opportunities to do things differently. I've seen local businesses do some really great things which they never would have done before. So using it as an opportunity to move forward is really important.
Yes. Those are really, really great points. And you're right, everyone has been hit, but there are a lot of resources. There are a lot of platforms out there. If you're talking small business owners, local small business owners, they need to be online. They need to be building their business online as well as offline. And the ones that aren't doing that are probably the ones, a lot of them having to close their doors because they're missing the opportunity there. And so you're right. If people can pivot and people can shift in times of difficulty, they can make it through anything. And, you know, business, that's just the ups and downs of business. I mean, I've been building businesses for 29 years, so I have been through a lot. The recession that lasted for 4 years, I expanded during that time. I opened 3 more businesses when everyone around me was shutting down. And so the ones that step up, sort of go all in, take that risk, they will be the ones that will be around for the long haul.
And often these things are already in your grasp. I
Yes.
find it funny when I talk to businesses and say, like, do you have an email list? And they're like, oh yeah, maybe 100 on my list. And I say, when did you last send them an email?
Right.
Oh,
Right.
a few months ago. I'm like,
Mhm.
oh my goodness, these are people who've said they
Yes.
want to hear from you. You should be communicating with them.
Yes. No, you're right. Hmm.
It's so simple. And things like, you know, setting up on your Facebook page and publishing good content and going live, which everybody can do,
Right.
literally within a few taps, clicks.
Right.
You know, doing a little bit of messaging and you know, all these things are there. I think it's
Yes.
just a matter of actually going and finding out how and getting the right help and support, and then just trying things.
Right.
There's
No.
absolutely no risk in trying it.
I love it. I love what you're saying because, you know, you talk about going live and you may think a plumbing company go live or an auto repair shop go live, or yes, absolutely. I worked with an auto repair shop, and one of the best strategies we put in place was we actually did like 3 videos where they were teaching something that people should know about their cars. And they were just educational videos. And we put those out on ads, and he started getting, you know, he got all this traction to his page, and then he could promote and he could give value, and then he could post testimonials, and his business literally just exploded. And it started with getting that consistent marketing going. And a lot of it did not cost him anything. I mean, he was paying me to work with him as a consultant and a coach, but his marketing wasn't costing anything. And so it's a really, really powerful thing that people can do and take advantage of. And many, many of them are not. So if you don't know what to do, get help. There are lots of people out there like Abby and like myself that can teach you how to do these things, but it's not an excuse to not do them. Right?
I totally agree.
So, all right, Abby, this has been fun. I know I love talking marketing, as you can tell, so we could probably talk about marketing for a few hours here. But I have enjoyed having you on. Is there anything else you want to share before we wrap it up?
No, I just want to encourage everybody right now just to kind of go for it. And, you know, every day brings new opportunities. Really prioritize your things in your business so that you are really making steps towards getting yourself ready for next year.
I love it. And Abby, how can people reach out to you, especially if they're in the Plano area or they're local to you? How can they reach out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I have a main website called planomums.com, which is the kind of audience focused website. Mm-hmm. I also have a business focused website called planomums.business, where we talk about all the things that we do for local businesses. And just encourage you to send me an email. I'm happy to, you know, give you tips and answer any questions. I do offer consults as well, obviously virtual, so I can help anyone anywhere. And give you some ideas of what you should be doing in strategy. I'd love to help anyone that needs it right now.
Sounds great. And we will put all of her links with the show notes and everything. So, Abby, thank you for being my guest and for sharing your wisdom and your expertise with everyone. And until next time, everyone, thank you so much for being here, for watching another show. And if you need any help in your business to grow your profitability, your revenue, cash flow, or build your team, I can help you scale up. So just reach out to me. Thanks for being here. God bless you. Bye-bye.